Okay, just as an extra from following on from the pillow class, I was thinking we made this pillow now, great, whoop-de-doo, what next? And a couple of questions come up through class or during class, such as, once you make your material, can you use it in another file and so on. And so I was looking at this and I thought, well, what might be an idea, rather than doing taking up a class with a tutorial on this, because I don't want to do that. I want to move on to other subjects, but just as an extra you can watch in your own time and kind of follow on. I thought I'd show you kind of process I think of. We've modelled this pillow, and we've put the work into modelling it and into making the material and unwrapping it, but could we use this somewhere else, or can we adapt it for something? And I thought, well, okay, it's a pillow, soft furnishing, let's make a sofa. We've done a lot of the work with the modelling of this single pillow. Let's go ahead and make a sofa out of it. So I thought I'd just do, like I said, not a tutorial, but just showing you my workflow through things and into uploading and things like that, just so you kind of get an idea of how I work and how you might want to work. So anyway, we'll be starting a new file and using this pillow and the materials and bringing them into the new file and making a sofa. So before I do much else, I just want to tidy this file up a little bit. It doesn't take a lot. The first thing I want to do is I want to go into the object data here, and this is called cube, which is fine because it's only a single object in this scene, but I'm just going to rename it to pillow because it will be easier to find. Actually, I need to do that here, sorry. Okay, and you see the name down here is changed to pillow. Let me turn off my caps lock, and actually let me turn on my screencast keys as well. Where they gone? There they are. Right, so there we see the left click down there. Right, so we've renamed that pillow. Let's just change the name of the material. It's just name material. Let's call it pinstripe. Okay, we can save this file. I've already got it named as pillow blend, and we'll just save the file. Okay, now we'll start up a new file, so Control N, and we've got this brand new blank file here, and we want to bring the pillow into it, and we can do that. So what we do is we come down to File and Append. Now we've got two options here. We've got Link and Append. If we use Link, any changes we make to the object in this file will change to the other file. I don't want that. I want the other file. I'm happy with it the way it is. If I make any changes, I don't want that to reflect in the other file. So I want to append it, which basically means bring in a copy of whatever's in your other file. So append, and I'm going to navigate to my pillow blend file, which is there. And we've got some options down here. First thing I want to do is actually bring in the object, the pillow object. So I'll open up object. You see I've got two objects in there, the sun lamp, which was the lighting we had, and the pillow. So I'm going to just select the pillow and append from library. And there you go. We see we've imported this pillow into a brand new file. Great, that's fantastic. That's exactly what I wanted. But I also want to bring in the material. Let me just change this over to cycles render. Okay, I want to bring in the material, so we can do that as well. File, append, Shift F1. Let's go back up a level, and we want to look at the materials, and there's the pinstripe material, and I can append that. Okay, so let's select this pillow. You can see the pinstripes already selected to it. Let me just open up the node editor here. There it is, and you see our node setup is already there. Diffuse and glossy mix, that very simple setup, and the texture and the output texture is there. Now let's forget that. Okay, let's try this again. That was a node editor. And let's just bring across an image editor. Image, and let's see if we got our images in there. We have. We got the baked textures and the textures that we had in the last file already in there, so that's great. So now we've got this brand new file with our pillow, object and material brought in. Just a couple of clicks. We don't have to remodel this when we start a new file or add a new material setup. We can just import it in from another file. Alright, so what I thought we'd do with this pillow, like I say, I was thinking about pillows and I thought, well, okay, let's kind of make it a bit bigger and let's just make a very kind of simple sofa using this pillow. So let me go into edit mode first of all. The first thing I thought was, well, a sofa, I don't really want one with buttons sticking in my back and wherever else we want to not mention. So I'm just going to select one single vertex on one side of the button, press L to select all the linked vertices on that, spin it around, and I'm going to do the same on the other side. Hold my mouse close there, press L. So we've got this button selected, and just delete it. X for delete vertices, and we got this pillow without a button now. I also want to remove the indentations that these buttons made. So let me go into a front view here, and let me box select with B key, and I'm going to kind of select a good area outside the indentation, and I'm going to do the same on the other side. So if I use Control 1 to get the reverse view, and I'll do the same again, B, and select those. That should be selected both sides. And I'm going to open up my tool panel with the T key, and I'm just going to hit smooth vertex a couple of times just to smooth this indentation out. If I go into object mode now, have a look, you see that's come back smooth, reasonable, quite happy with that. Right, so let me go into front view, and let me go into an ortho view. The size of this object is round about half a meter. That's okay. We're probably going to have to do some rescaling anyway because SL scale doesn't quite match real life. But we'll leave it at this for the minute and we'll tackle that later. So I've got this object, and let's just imagine this is the backrest of the sofa. So I'm just going to move it across to the left of the centre line there, just for ease really. No more than anything else. And I'm going to duplicate this, so it'll be Shift D, and I want to move it on the X, so I'll press the X key and just drag it across. So we now got two pillows. Okay. Right, so let's go back in the front view. I want to make the base as well, and it's probably going to be easier. The whole lot is going to end up as one joined object, so I might as well just join these now. So I'll shift select the second one, Control J to join it. Now if I go into edit mode, you see it all, it's all able to edit, not just one pillow or the other. So it's one object. Let me deselect all of that. Back into object mode. Okay, I'm going to go to my side view by pressing the numpad 3 key. We've got this one object I want to make the base. So I'm going to Shift D, and I'm going to drag it a bit on the Y. So I'll press the Y key, bring it across, and then I'll rotate it by about 90 degrees. Okay, now I'm just going to use my G key and grab this and kind of place it somewhere. So we're starting to get this sofa shape. Nobody wants to sit bolt upright. There's always a bit of a rake or an angle on a backrest, so let's just rotate this a bit, somewhere about there, and yep. Now we're starting to get the basis of a sofa. We need some armrests. Okay, so really for that I only want one pillow, so I can place it there and there, and so we need to separate this again. So make sure everything's deselected. I'm just going to select one vertex on one pillow, press L, so the whole pillow should be selected, which is fine. Then I'm going to press the P key to separate that, partition off into its own separate objects. So P, separate selection, and you see it's an individual object. So let's go back into object mode. I've got this. I'm going to go into my front view, and I'm going to Shift D this again, duplicate it, Shift D, and just drag it across. Right, I'm going to rotate it around the Z or the Z axis by 90 degrees, so RZ 90. It's kind of hidden back there, but that's alright, just drag it across. Right, yeah, it's at an angle. Simply just press the R key, rotate it, bring it back in. It's probably a bit thicker than what I would like, so I'm going to scale it on the X, SX, and just drag this in a bit. There we go. I'm going to pull it down. Well, actually just grab it down somewhere like that. Let's go to my side view. The origin is gone way off. It's because we joined the object. Let me just fix that real quick. We can use a set origin and origin to geometry, so that's better. And I can bring this across, so we're starting to get there. We probably want it a bit wider, so we can scale it on the y-axis, S, Y. Let's bring it out a bit. That's not looking too bad. Somewhere about there? Yeah. Okay, come to my front view again. I'm going to duplicate this with a Shift D, and I'm going to drag it along the X-axis, so I'll press the X key and just bring this across to the other side. And I'm just kind of placing these by eye. There's no real kind of maths or science behind it. I'm just doing it by eye. It's just a soft furnishing. It's not supposed to look uniform. Okay, so that's the basis of it. We probably need a base piece here, or a centerpiece. I don't know what you would call it really, but we can do that again. We've still got this kind of square object. We can Shift D, duplicate that, grab it and pull it across on the X-axis. We need to rotate it on the Z-axis, RZ by 90 degrees, and now we can start scaling it. So SX, let's bring it out to the full width. SZ or Z, let's bring it down a bit, drag this down a bit. Okay, but if we look at it, that's kind of in the middle there. So let's go to the side view, and in order to be able to see this properly, I'm going to go into a wireframe view. Okay, so now I can see basically the next frame of my object, and I'm just going to pull this across towards the front. It's actually still probably a bit high if I'm looking at that, so let me scale it SZ down a little bit more and drag this down. Like I say, I'm just eyeballing this really, and drag this down. Okay, so let's go back into solid views. So there we go, and there we have just this kind of very simple two-seater sofa made from a pillow. We've got some gaps and bits and pieces here, so let's just fix them. Nobody wants to see them, so this probably needs to be scaled up again. So SZ, scale it up and just bring this up. Seeing some gaps here in the sides, so let's scale it on the X a little bit, SX, and scale it across so it actually enters inside and we get rid of those gaps. I'm just looking around. That kind of acceptable? Not sure. Well, okay. Let's join these two again anyway. So select both of them, Control J, so they're now one object. And SX, scale on the X just to bring it out a bit. And yeah, I'm quite happy with that. That's just a very, very simple sofa. Okay, so we've got this simple sofa. It's taken us, if I wasn't talking and explain my way through it, probably 2 or 3 minutes to make from that pillow. We already have material in there. So we should be able to kind of see what it's going to look like. So if I was to go into a rendered view now, you can see UV unwraps and everything have stayed. There's no lighting in this scene yet. So let me just come back into solid. Now Now, I've never done this before. I've never transferred lighting from one file to another, so I'm not sure if this will work, but we'll try it. Append, and we'll go up, and, well, we can certainly bring the lamp and the world in. Well, that's good. So I'll append this sun, but that seems to have spawned right in the centre there. Let's go back to our... Actually, has it come in? No, it hasn't. I'm not seeing it on the... Let me just try that again. In case I did something wrong there. File, append, select the sun, append from library. And... no, it hasn't. So obviously that doesn't work. Okay, well, let's try that with the world. I've never tried this before. I've always just set up lighting per scene. But it's worth a try, isn't it? We've got our world. Let's append from library. Come down here. Nope, that use nodes. No, that's just a standard world. Okay. Alright, so we set the lighting up again. Right, okay, so the world. Colour, we want more white. And from memory, our strength was a lot lower, about 0.2 or 3 or somewhere like that. Let's try 0.2. Let's render this. Okay, so we've got some ambient light around. Let's try that at 0.3. Yep, that's looking a little better for me. Our unwraps are all there. You know, it is. We're going to have to redo the unwraps, but you know, it's how we would expect it. Okay, let's go back to solid view and let's add in a sun lamp. So Shift A, lamp, and a sun lamp. There it is there. So I'm gonna grab this, move it kind of, I don't know, somewhere about there, rotate it so it's going to cast a shadow along this line, so I need to rotate it so this line comes across to the object. Somewhere about there. Let's go front view. I probably want it off to the side a little. Rotate. Okay. The strength of the sun lamp, I'm not sure about what we got yet. Strength is at 1, but let's do a quick render and see how it's looking. A quick rendered view. Well, that's actually looking pretty much spot on the way I wanted it. Okay, so let's go back into, this time we'll do it into a texture view, or material view actually. Come on. There we go. Alright, so we've got our basics over here. We've got some basic lighting set up. It's taken us just a few minutes. I'm now going to select all of these objects. Okay, all of the objects that comprise of the sofa, not the lamp. Okay, I'm going to join them into one. Control J. Alright, so now we go to edit mode and we select everything. We're going to be looking at our UVs, so we'll select all. And our UVs are all stacked on top of one another, and that's not really what we wanted because we won't be able to bake it. They need to be separate islands. What do I mean by stacked on top of one another? Well, let me just select one of these, and if you see, if I move it across, there's more underneath it. Alright, so we've already got our seams marked from our pillow file. You can see the slight red line there. That all transfers with the object. So let me just press U for unwrap and unwrap this again, and you can see that it's separated out all the objects and unwrapped them. However, if we go back into our texture view, we can see that the lines have kind of rotated and everything. We need to fix that, or you might like it like that. That's entirely up to you, but personally I don't. I want them straight. So what I'm going to do is each of these ones that are at 45-degree angles, I'm going to select it. I'm just going to rotate it around. It's just manually tweaking the UV map. just so they're square. Okay.